Hey, what's going on, guys? So for the week, I'm going to give you guys an update on the fish room outside in the garage. You guys have not seen this for a while, so I'm going to go over real quick all the tanks outside and kind of give you a brief update of what's going on. So we'll start from the top here. This is the peppermint pleco tank. So we have a few fry from the first and second batch left. Actually, they've been sold, so after these guys are sold, I think there's only like maybe 2 more guys in here that are very little. I'm still growing those guys out. Might be a few more months before they're ready. If not, I'll probably keep those last 2 in the other tank to see if we can get some females or whatnot. And that's it for these guys for a while. I have not gotten any eggs or batches for these guys, so we probably won't see any of these guys probably for another 2 years or so, depending on when we actually have eggs for these guys again. Okay, moving on to the next tank here. This is the saltwater tank, so there's nothing in here. I actually moved the last 2 fish into the cube over here in a little bit. I'll show you guys. But yeah, there's nothing in here. I'm going to convert this to a freshwater tank because I'm gonna show you in a little bit. We're gonna have a bunch of new plecos that are going to be coming out in probably a half a year from now that needs a grow out tank, so they'll need more room to grow. So that's what that tank's going to be, or some sort of shrimp mixed with plecos. All right, so on to the next tank here. This is my Celestial Pearl Danio. So this is the newest addition to the fish room here. As you can see here, back in end of April. They've been fully quarantined after 2 months. They're just going to be in here for a while until we get them growing bigger. It's a little bit hard to see because the water is a little bit tannin from the almond leaves here. We have a couple of shrimps in here. They kind of clean up some of the mess that they make, or the food that they don't eat. But you can see them kind of in the back here. We did lose maybe 30% of them during quarantine. To be honest, it's kind of common for these guys. A lot of them come in sunken belly. A lot of them come, you know, clamp fins. They don't really make it through quarantine from my past experience. But these other ones that actually made it through here, they look strong, they look healthy, they look pretty good. So we'll let them grow out. We'll let them kind of figure out, you know, what's male, what's female. But it looks like we have a nice mix of males and females in here in terms of what I can see so far. So they're looking pretty good in there. All right, so moving on to the last tank up here. This is the cull tank. As you can see, there's tons of shrimp. And actually, we've sold a lot of shrimp this year, but yet there's still tons of babies, a lot of them still growing out. So we're gonna keep selling them. We're gonna keep selling them, keep calling them until we can make a nice batch. I'm gonna show you the main tank in a little bit here, but these are new batches of eggs. These are the tiger plecos. We just had another batch. The dad kicked out the eggs, and these were what was left in terms of getting kicked out. And I think most of them got eaten before I actually seen the eggs get kicked out. But there was 4 of them, but only 3 of them here survived. So hopefully these guys will grow to wiggler and we'll get them growing. In here as well, you can see here this little guy here. This is the Starlight Pleco. So similar to the Peppermint Pleco, but they will retain their white seams here as they grow up, and they'll start losing their spots. So I'm really excited for these guys. There's 2 big batches of these guys in here. There's at least 30 or 40 of them in here. So like I said, once they grow up, they'll move probably into this tank and this tank over here, because most of these guys will be sold. We'll move those 2 into the main tank or into here or something like that. And we'll move all these little plecos into those tanks across there to let them grow out. And we'll kind of go from there. But excited for those guys to grow out, and excited for these little guys to go out. All right, so moving to the bottom of the tank. This is probably like the worst week to film the shrimp tank, just because I added these almond leaves recently into these racks here. I added 3 leaves into here, and this whole tank is just filled with tannins. It'll take a couple weeks before it kind of dilutes, but this one had 1 leaf and this one had 1 leaf, and both of these tanks actually look like this. But what I did was to kind of be able to film and show you guys some of these. I did a water change in this guy, put carbon. I did a water change in that guy, and that carbon was in there, so that's why this is so clean. But this one's going to probably be clean soon here, and this one had tannins as well, but it only has 1 leaf. And this one isn't as bad, and that one's going to need a water change probably tomorrow or the next couple of days here, and that will clear up. But this one here, the shrimp tank down here, they're doing pretty good. It's pretty hot during the summer months, so a lot of these guys are kind of, you know, a little bit slower in terms of growing and breeding, but for the most part, everything's doing well in this tank. There's really nothing to complain about for these guys, so yeah, it's not really much to talk about other than there's a bunch of shrimp and the little plecos that are in here, they're growing out. Once they kind of grow out, we'll move them to the next tank. But as you can see here, look at these guys. Look how happy these guys are. This is Monte Carlo. I got a bunch of them from the other tank. A bunch back there too. They're just kind of like chilling and growing, you know. So, tons of them. Alright, so moving on to the pleco rack here. I only have one light up and running, which is down here, and I'll show you guys in a little bit. But for the ones that doesn't have light, I'll kind of go through them real quick. So this is the Starlight pleco breeding group here. I haven't seen any eggs during the summer, and normally they don't have eggs during the summer. It's kind of rare, but they can. It's mainly during fall and colder temps that they'll start breeding. But yeah, so we have a couple males in here, so they're just kind of chilling in there. Moving across here to the Tiger pleco tank and some 306. There's just a bunch of them in here. I did sell a couple males. I do have a couple more males in here for sale, just because, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basically caves here, and they're always taken. There's also males outside of this, so there's way more males than females in this tank here that we need to kind of separate so that they don't fight each other, that they don't injure each other. But like I said, most recently we did have a small clutch of eggs. I don't know which of these. I think it came out from this one here that the male kicked out, and I grabbed it and put it over there. There was only 3, but still, that's I would say successful for me in terms of breeding. So it means that definitely there's a female in here somewhere, and that she's breeding really well. So that's good. All right, so moving down to the bottom rack. This is the peppermint setup with all the adults in here. There's a couple of juveniles as well. There's the Pothamus pleco there. That is the phase 2.5, looking beautiful, looking nice. And while we're down here, this is the sump. I think I've shown you guys a snippet of this. I added some plants in here to try to, you know, make the water a little bit more clean, to help pull up some of the nitrates here. So it's also growing out really nicely. These are the swords. Starting to get some new leaves as well on a bunch of them, so I'm happy to see that. Okay, finally, this is the last rack for the plecos. This is a mix of zebra plecos and leopard frog plecos. And also we have one green phantom pleco that's way back here, along with some of the Garra fish as well. Still no success in terms of breeding here. I know we have females and males for the leopard frogs, but nothing that I've seen, at least. For the past couple years, they're pretty big, you know, a couple males for sure, but like I said, hopefully we'll cross our fingers and get them breeding. The zebra plecos, still no success. I don't think we actually have pairs in there. I think we might have a couple males. As you can see, there's a couple males in there, but there's no female, so maybe in the future we'll pick some up and see if that will pan out. Alright, so this is the angelfish tank. This is the Altum / Red Shoulder plant tank outside. It's been pretty hot, so a lot of the plants here in the front has melted back a little bit, but they're still doing pretty decently. A lot of the plants here got kicked up from the fish, but hey, I'll get in there and probably replant them and pull out some of these dead plants in here in a little bit. But yeah, they're doing, you know, pretty decently, doing fine. The plan still is to try to get rid of 2 of these red shoulders, just to kind of reduce some of the numbers here, just because I do know that it's overstocked, but eventually we'll cut them down just to see if we can get a pair to kind of breed, just for, you know, for fun, just to kind of experiment to see what happens. So finally is the last saltwater tank. We do have algae, and this is running on a radion. It's pretty strong, even though it's filtered. Brand new tank, so algae's, you know, going to be there. We have some Shado in here, so it'll help absorb some of that, but we just really need to go in here and just clean this side up, which is not terrible. Just kind of letting it go a little bit, just because it's a still brand new tank. We'll kind of let it do its thing. I did add in 2 anemones in here, but they definitely melted back just because the garage is a lot hotter, and that was kind of a test anemone to see if they would do okay out here during these hot months, and that's a no, because it shriveled back. It's still, you know, doing this thing, but it's just kind of not happy right now. So we'll see. All right, guys, and that is the quick tour and update of the fish room outside. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's something that I missed or something you guys want to know, leave it in the comments below. I will help answer any questions, anything that's going on. But yeah, things are looking good. Oh, there's the pleco. So this is one of the males that was in the other tank over there that was fighting. Like I mentioned, we need to get rid of at least 2 more of these males on this side, just to kind of help reduce some of the numbers of the male aggression during breeding and whatnot. So yeah, anyways, if you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe, and like always, the next one, guys, peace.